world will all be unmuted.
Exactly. And I want to share with you. Okay.
Okay. All right. Now let's see. Now I can go to that. All right. We're going to go to. Come on. Come on.
And Kathy, while you're doing that, do you want people to just pipe in throughout your
Yeah,
presentation?
I am totally fine. If you guys have any questions along the way, sometimes I miss it if you put it into chat. So if somebody does put it into chat, Lisa, will you just read whatever they say to me?
Absolutely.
So, okay. All right. So welcome everybody. And we're going to be talking specifically about creating a company page today, and not just creating a company page, but how to use your company page in the smartest way possible. And so if you've never exactly heard of a company page, that is a free page, not about your profile, but about your business. We're going to talk about that. And if I haven't met you guys before, my name's Kathy Bernard, and my email is kathy@wiseru.com. All right, so my background is I'm a LinkedIn trainer, LinkedIn optimizer, meaning that I do people's profiles and so that they score really high for what they do. And we'll talk a little bit later about what it means to score high. All right, and so you've heard about LinkedIn, you know that there's something there, you know that it's really good. It's got 740 million members, although that doesn't mean that 740 million members know that they're on LinkedIn. Some of them don't remember that they have 3 or 4 profiles. They don't, some died. There's just a ton of people that don't really use LinkedIn very much, but there's about 740 million people, about 176 million of them are in the US. So pretty much anybody who is on LinkedIn, who's in business is on LinkedIn. And it's the most affluent social media on earth, with an average income of $100,000. And interestingly enough, 100% of Fortune 500 companies use it for either sales, marketing, recruiting, or all of the above. So here's why I'm so passionate about you creating a company page and why it's so important to do so. And it all started with, I had a local client who was a soundproofing company, little tiny mom and pop soundproofing company. And she just wanted to be found on LinkedIn for what she did. So I figured out what the right soundproofing words are, like sound control, baffles, all the different kind of words that they use for that. And I figured out what those are. And I realized that people don't just look you up on LinkedIn by your name. They don't know your name, right? It's kind of like yellow pages of your, where they would look you up by what you do. They'd look you up for soundproofing, or they'd look you up for legal services or whatever, and then they'd find you and then they'd call, right? Same thing with Google now. They'd go put it in, soundproofing, and then they show up. It's the same thing on LinkedIn. People can put in things like soundproofing, St. Louis, and I wanted my client to show up. So when I did everything right on LinkedIn, I created a company page for her by pumping up her profile, by growing her network, she started showing up high on LinkedIn. Now, there's another way to be found. We'll go over this. We can go over this when we go live on LinkedIn in a little bit. You can be found because there's a new button up at the top of your profile, like right underneath your name. Some of you are going to have a button that says providing services. Are you open to provide services? And you can list up to 10 services that you provide there. Now, I don't actually have that button on mine, but you may have it on yours where you can actually say, hey, I provide these services. And that's another way that people can find you. But we're going to be talking about how to be found out by your company page. All right. So remember I was telling you about the soundproofing lady. Well, what we did is we figured out how to pump up her profile and her husband's profile, but we also added a company page for her and bulk that up too. And when we did that, anytime somebody started looking for soundproofing, not just in St. Louis, but soundproofing, she started showing up number one in the search results of like 2,000 different people. So I thought, okay, we're on to something. It's about being found on LinkedIn. But here's the coolest thing about being found on LinkedIn is when you do it right, you start showing up high on Google because Google loves LinkedIn results. And so it will actually take your result on on LinkedIn and help you score high on Google. When I realized that, I thought that's where everybody's really looking. They're looking on Google to find soundproofing or whatever it is you offer. So they're going to type in, it's like soundproofing, comma, St. Louis, or they might type in leadership development coach, comma, St. Louis, and you want to show up high on LinkedIn. So as a result, you start showing up high on Google. So how do you do that? Well, you first don't want to make the mistake of thinking that your profile is your company page. Your profile is about you. So that circle's got to have your little smiling face in there, which is, it's free to set up that page and to maximize it. But you want to create a company page that's all about your company. And how you do that is up at the very top, you're going to see the work icon. And you're going to click the work icon, and then you're going to choose create a company page. And this is also free to do, and it can let you look as impressive as Tesla, Microsoft, or whatever. There are millions of LinkedIn company pages out there. All right. And then once you create the company page, it's going to let you add a banner, and it's a very long, wide, but short space. And if you'll notice, like Apple and Schnooks, they've got a pretty good job where they fill that space really nicely. You don't have to have a spaceship building like Apple, but like Schnooks, what they did is they cropped it so that not too much of the top or bottom are in there. Big companies fail at this sometimes because if you look at enterprises, I can't figure out what the heck they're trying to show on that space. So think about your long, skinny space that you can add for free that kind of tells the story of your company and fits into that space nicely. So it's 1536 by 768 pixels, which is a different size than the banner that's up at the top of your profile. Your profile, it's a little bit taller and a little bit less wide. All right, and then you can also add your logo in there, and I should have had a button on there. The logo is square, and it's 300 by 300 characters. So when you create a logo for your page, you want to make sure that the image goes side to side, all the way, almost touching the ends of the box, because you want to have it super big. If you have a very long, wide logo, like how Enterprise Holdings did, you want to stack what you have. Otherwise, your logo is going to be so tiny, it's going to hardly be seen. You can also add up to 2,000 characters in your company page, where you can add 2,000 characters about your business. So you could say, here we are, Bridgeton, here's a paragraph about this, and here's a paragraph about that. And you can put in all your information. What I suggest doing is going to the about page of your website and copying that about information in there. And then there's a section where you can add all sorts of details, like your website address, your phone number. It's not showing in this on the right side here. You can add your phone number, the year that you established your business, company type. And when we're finished with the slides, I'll jump over to LinkedIn so I can show you exactly how to do this. But it's super easy just to fill out the form. And then what's really cool is that once you get your company page set up, you can invite people from your profile, from that you're connected to. You can invite them to follow your company page. But what I would suggest doing is, before you do that, we want to pump up your profile. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my LinkedIn, and then I'm going to make sure you guys can see this. I'm going to jump over here and let's see, I'm going to stop share, and I'm going to share a different screen here. I'm going to, all right, I'm going to go to LinkedIn and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to come up here to where you see the work. I don't think you can. Let's see. Can you see, guys see my screen? Can you, let's see. I'm going to make sure you guys can see it.
We can.
Okay, good. All right, I'm going to come up to the work icon and I'm going to click, oh, you guys are in front of me here. I'm going to click on create a company page. And now I'm going to say start a small business. And then you're going to put the company name in here. So I'm going to take this Golden Grocer. And then you put in the website. Now, here's the thing is if you don't have to have a website, you don't have to put a website in here if you don't have one. You can select your industry. It's that same limited list of industries like LinkedIn has on your profile, which is unfortunate. Just pick the one that's closest to what you do. I'm just gonna put that, I'll just pick something on here. I'm gonna say company size. Now you could say 0 to 1 if you're a solopreneur, or if you ever have some support, maybe you can have outside people. I usually put 2 to 10 just to make you sound a little bit bigger. Then you're going to do select company type. You could put privately held, or you could put self-employed. I usually put privately held, sounds a little more impressive. It's going to want you to upload a logo so that your logo will show next to your work entry. And then it's going to want you to add a tagline of up to, oh, this is only, I think, 200 characters, not very many characters to do that. And then you verify that you're an authorized representative of your company. So once you do that, it'll let you have a company. And then let me go to, I'm going to go ahead and go to my company page so you can see what this looks like now. So once you create a company page, you're going to, this is kind of like just when you get on there, this is the first thing that you see is your company page. You'll notice that you can start a post from your company page. So you can share news like a hi world, and you can share different things about, you can upload an image from your computer. You can upload a video. You can add a document like a sales document. You can do all the other buttons like celebrate an occasion, create a poll, share that you're hiring, all of those kinds of things. You can delete. I'm going to delete this for now, but I just want you to see that you can start a post. But where we're going to be right now is I'm going to go to this edit page. And from this edit page, I can add things like my page info. I can add up to 2,000 characters about my company. So you can see all of that. So I made a list of different things. I add my website. I've added my industry, company size, company type, phone number, and then you can list up to 20 specialties. And how you add the specialties is interesting. You can just click into add a specialty and you can say something like career support. And here's the thing is it takes way more than 20 specialties. I don't know why, it's kind of a broken button, but you can just keep adding specialties. You can say whatever you want in the specialties, including having typos. So you really want to make sure that you're putting the right things in there. Why do you add specialties? Because when you add specialties in there, that's how people can find you on LinkedIn. So if they were to search for LinkedIn training, and that is one of my things, then if they were going to look for that, then, and I don't know if I'll come up on here, but if I put in LinkedIn training, I could come down to companies and I should eventually show up in this list because I have LinkedIn training listed on my specialties. So for your company page, you want to be thinking about what specialties make you uniquely qualified. You also want to add specialties that are think about if they were looking you up on Google or looking you up on you in Yellow Pages, how would they find you? So what words do people use to find what you do, right? So if you were a leadership coach, you might call it leadership coaching, leadership development, employee engagement. Think about all the different variations of the terms that you want, management training. So you can add up to 20 different specialties. So also under edit page, you're going to see that you can add those specialties, but over on the left side, you can also see where you can add a location. What's really nice about this is I don't have to list my home address. Before I was like, I don't want to list my home address because I don't want to receive a bunch of junk mail, but also I don't really promote my home address, right? So you can click on this and you can say, my organization does not have a street address. And then it'll just require you to put the city, state, and zip code on there. So that's a nice feature. Also on the left, you're going to see hashtags, and it wants you to list up to 3 hashtags. Hashtags are topics. So what are the topics related to what you do? So I did hashtag with no space, hashtag career, hashtag LinkedIn, hashtag talent shortage. But you're going to have 3 hashtags. They're going to be unique to you. That might be hashtag recruiting, hashtag leadership development. If it's leadership development, it's all one word, no space. So it's hashtag, which is capital 3, hashtag leadership development, all one space, all one word. Okay. So pick the 3 that you want. LinkedIn will suggest that you pick your company page as one of your hashtags, but I don't know about you. No one's talking about Wiser You, so I'm not wasting my hashtag with that, right? If I was Microsoft, sure, but yeah, not. But so anyway, so it should be hashtag whatever relates to what you do. Okay.
Kathy,
Yes.
someone asked, are you required to put a city and state?
Yeah, you have to put a city and state. But it's like it doesn't make a big deal about it. It's like it'll just say St. Louis. I think what it does is why it does is it wants to see this up in the box. It wants to show like St. Louis, Missouri, but you don't have to do it. And then what you could do is if you're in multiple cities, you could just list that in your copy here. Like you could just say located in Kansas City, St. Louis, Prague and Rome, you can put, because occasionally you visit there. I don't know. But anyway, you do have to put a city and a state, but you don't have to put your address, which is cool. And I really like it much better because I used to get junk mail sent to my home because I had the address on there.
Okay. Sherry also has a location question.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Missouri and Virginia.
Yeah, so what I would do is pick one of those. So you could pick Williamsburg or you could pick St. Louis, and then you could explain operating out of and then just in the copy, explain that you're operating out of St. Louis and Williamsburg. Okay. Yeah.
And Amy has asked, when you post on your company page, do your connections see it or just your followers?
Just your followers. So that's what I was going to go to next is, so people often ask, well, should I post things as my company or should I post things as me on your homepage? So what I mean by that is you can go to your homepage, you could start a post and you could say, like, hey, and I can choose, do I want to post as Kathy Bernard or do I want to post as Wiser You? Now, if I post as Wiser You, and then I click save, I can send that message as Wiser You, but I only have about 500 followers of my company page. I have 11,000 connections. So I would probably share as Kathy Bernard because I want it to be there. But what I end up doing is I also will post it out on my company page. So I'm going to discard this and I'll show you what I mean is I will go to Wiser You. I'll go to this page and I'll also share it there. Maybe not on the same day, but maybe I'll say, hey, or something. And then I'll do like hashtag St. Louis and hashtag marketing. I'm just going to give you a couple. So what I do is I also, when I post things for my company, I also include hashtags. So that would be where you want to do hashtag St. Louis if your message is to people in St. Louis, and there's variations of that. It might be like STL made. So it might be there's also like a St. Louis, Missouri. You can pick multiple hashtags. The reason why you want to include hashtags in your posts is because then people who are interested in St. Louis, people who are interested in marketing will see your post. So it's kind of a brilliant idea of getting your post in the right place. There is no set number of hashtags. So you probably, some people put 10, 20 in there. I would say 3 is probably a good number to do. You could go beyond that, but you want to try to have like your location. So you might want to have like St. Louis, and you might want to have Williamsburg listed there, but you also want to, what's the article about? So you might want to list that this is about public speaking and this is about whatever. And so when you do a hashtag, there's no space between the hashtag or the capital 3 and the words are all lowercase and smushed together. So you could put that in there, and then you could share it on your company page. The reason why I share my things on the company page is so that when people scroll down on my company page, they can see some content out there. Even if most of the time I share as Kathy Bernard on my homepage, I want to have some content out there so that people go, oh, okay, this is a legitimate company. They have a fair amount of articles. They must know what they're doing. So that's where I do that. I'll just point out that they show you, how many people, they show how many people have viewed your post out on your company page. Organic impressions, 148 impressions. I'll tell you the truth. When you're a small solopreneur, you're not going to get hundreds of people reading your articles. I mean, maybe if you're a Richard Branson solopreneur, but it still put it out there anyway, because it gives you a body of work out there. You can notify your employees once you've posted something. So if you have people that work for you, you can click notify employees. Are you sure you want to employees? You can say yes, and it'll send it out there. Why is this good? Is because when you notify employees, if you train them what to do, they can send that same message out to all of their network and get the message spread. So it's kind of nice that they do that. So you want to make sure that all of your employees are connected to your homepage, which means if I go to, so I'm going to go to Susan, who works with me, is that she has to have the same logo next to her work experience as I do. So that logo has to be here. If that logo is here, then people can click through to the company page. And if you do that, notify employees, that person's going to get the note. They have to have that logo next to their work entry. And so that's how that works on that.
Can I ask 2 questions?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Going back to the hashtags, so you recommend that using whatever pops up to use, just say when you did STL?
Yeah, you don't. You can pick whatever one you want. You can make up your own hashtag, but I would use the ones that show up. So like, I'm just going to start typing up like leadership development. So it's going to give you a variety of choices, but I usually pick the ones that are sort of standard. Otherwise, there's not going to be very many people following that topic. So that's why I do it. It's like leadership development, but if I said organizational let's try that organizational development. You just try variations. And then sometimes I'll notice, like I'll think, oh, okay, I'm going to do St. Louis, but I'm just going to see if there's some out there. Like there's like a Chesterfield and a Chesterfield, Missouri. Now, I think people get the hashtag St. Louis one, but if you have an article like, hey, I'm going to be speaking at Chesterfield Mall or whatever that leadership thing is out there that Karen Hoffman has, I might put hashtag Chesterfield Mall. You might see, there's Baldwin. You can add some different things, but I usually go with the ones that are kind of standard that pop up.
Okay.
Okay.
Then
All right.
Amy has also asked, can you tag yourself in your company post?
Yeah, no,
Get it shared in both places?
that's a good question. Let me see. You can tag yourself. So if I do add and then Kathy and I find myself, I can put that in there. So you can tag other people. Betsy's very good about tagging people. I'm not that good at tagging people, but you can tag. So I'm just going to put in like Lisa Oxenhandler. The reason why you tag people, why did it start to show you and then went away? Let's see. It started to show you. That's weird. Okay. There you go. So I would pick you from the list. The reason why you tag people is so that the people can comment on it. So they see it and then they can comment. So that's really good for solopreneurs. You kind of get a bunch of ringers that will comment and kind of get the conversation going. So, and then think about when you're posting things about, maybe ask a question or make a comment that can kind of encourage people to post something. And then you might want to add a photo to that as well, because photos will attract attention. So you want to, add things in there if you can.
Right.
Okay.
Annette, you have a question?
Yeah, quick question. This is something that just keeps throwing me for a loop. How do you balance posting on your personal page versus your company page?
Yeah.
Should they be one and the same? Should they always be different? Because then it's twice the content.
Well, yeah. So that's okay. So you realize that with your, when you're posting as yourself, I would say post the things that you really want to get out to a wide audience. Post as yourself. Maybe come back and post it on your homepage too, because when you're getting started, you may only have 5 followers. So what the heck, go ahead and share it on your company page. Those only the 5 people are going to possibly see it. It just shows up on their homepage. So the chances that they're even going to see it are very slim. So I would say go ahead and share it in both places. That's what I usually do, is I usually share it as me. And then a couple of days later, I'll just share it on my company page as well, just to have a body of stuff out there so that it looks like I've been busy, that I've got some content. And what's nice about it is when you post as yourself, you don't really get how many people have seen it or any of that. You don't get any of this kind of dashboard information. So it's kind of nice, but it's kind of depressing too, because it's kind of like, I had 1 like and 79 impressions. It's not terribly good. So, but I could sponsor it if I want to. And that means I could pay to get that post to be up higher in people's pages. Now you could go to Campaign Manager, you put a certain amount of money that you want to put aside to it and say, I'm going to put $10 towards this. And so that means it's going to be seen by a lot more. So I could do that. I'm frugal, so I don't do that. So, but you could, if you wanted to. All right. Yeah.
What's the difference of an impression versus the views?
That is a really good question, because impressions, and I'm not exactly sure. So views, I think, is if somebody opened it. I think impressions is if on your homepage, if you go to your page and you scroll down here, even if I don't read these articles, that counts as an impression. So when you, it's like 1/100th of a second counts towards your click, like the impression. It's just so tiny that it's just like, and how when you're passing things, I'm not reading this, but that counts it. So that's why I usually don't run posts. I try to put images in. I try to tag people. I try to do things to make the post somewhat interesting, because I don't want to pay for somebody to flip past me. That to me is frustrating. I think they got a little bit of a con going on that one. So I usually, like I like how Nancy Friedman here is, she put a picture of everybody on Zoom. So something that makes you go, oh, I know that person or that person, kind of attract attention to what you're doing.
Yeah, because it seems like I do find how many views I have on a particular post, and I'm trying to remember. That's somewhere.
I think people have opened it and they're actually reading it. So impressions aren't as good as the views. So
Right.
views,
I haven't found, at least on my personal page, I haven't found the impressions thing yet, but it does keep telling me about views.
you want to see personal, you're not going to get impressions, only
Oh,
on your
okay.
company page when you
Oh,
post
okay.
from your company page. So that's where it's kind of interesting. But like I said, I don't take
Okay.
much stock in this these impressions because frankly, I don't think people do much on my company page. It's just nice to where the company page is nice is it's like, now who's this Kathy? Okay, now is this Wise Are You legit? What's up with this? Oh, she's got 505 followers, which I'll tell you, I've been working at for years. I never really done this whole thing where the other thing I wanted to show you is you can come up here to admin tools and you can invite your connections to follow your company page. What I would do first is get a couple stories posted out there, even if nobody sees it, get it posted out there. Make sure you have your company overview done and your hashtags figured out and all that stuff. Make it impressive. Then you can go through and you can just go right down the list and then invite a bunch of people. Now, so only invite people. I think there's a limit, and I think you can, I forgot what the limit is. You can add to it each month. You could just invite everybody, or you could invite selected people to follow your company page. So try to kind of work it and make sure it's impressive before you do that. But and so it goes out when people check out their invitations, they're going to see on here, some of these are going to be, and I may not have one, but somebody that invited me to connect may actually want me to follow their company page. And so people can follow that company page on there. So it's not terribly important, but what I think is nice is that when you have a company page, then on your profile, you can see the logo next to, once you've created a company page, you can see the logo next to your experience. Now, here's the thing is, it won't do it automatically. What you have to do is you have to go back into this page and then choose. So like if I just typed Wise Are You and I didn't choose it from the list, it's not going to show. Let me go back there. It's just with there. It's not going to show. You have to pick it from the list, and then it'll show on your company page. No, I can't see this. Let me move this.
Well, this is good to know. There are several
Yeah.
people I've met in entrepreneurial networking things, and I
Yeah.
go on their LinkedIn and say, who is this guy? What is he, what does
Yeah.
he actually
And
do?
it,
And you
yeah.
click on their company and it just takes you to this weird page. It doesn't really have a company
Yeah,
page.
and it says,
I'm like,
oh, do you want
I'd
to
like
adopt
to
this page?
know what, even if it's a startup, what is it really doing? And he may have an article about it, and that may be only, it's been kind of a dead end in a
Yeah.
lot of cases. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, do I want to be a connection with this person? I don't
Yeah,
really know. I
yeah,
can't find
because-
anything out about him except for what he puts on his profile, which isn't about what he's currently doing.
Yeah.
So that just made me feel a little uneasy.
Right, exactly. And sometimes people make the mistake of, they're thinking that they make this their picture their logo, and so that's actually not allowed. You're supposed to have your picture here, and I just wrote to somebody because she had made her company, she had made her profile her picture, but she didn't know. It happens, people don't know, but you want to have it so that your logo shows next to your work entry. It just makes you look a lot more impressive. When you don't have that, then the logo doesn't show, and then it kind of looks like your small potatoes. So that's why you want to do that. I'm going to go back to Wise Are You. So let's go back up to these admin tools. So you got some other tools up here where you can sponsor an update. Like I said, if you were having a big event, say you were hosting a webinar and you wanted people to come, now you might want to sponsor an event. You could post a free job with that, and that what they're going to do is maybe get you to run one ad and then they want you to post a job for real. But you could just go onto your thing here and say, hey, Wiser U is hiring. We're hiring an intern or whatever. And it's going to share it just like regular news. So you don't have to run a job ad if you don't want to, but they're going to try to get you to run a job ad. You can create an event. So this is cool. I'm going to create an event. And this could be something like, I'm going to say, like LinkedIn for whatever. And I'm going to say, what's my time zone? So no, it's central. I'm going to put the start date and I'm going to put the description of my session. I'm going to say everything that's going on about this. I can upload an image somewhere on here. I forget, it might be the next page. And it does. So say you have a session that you're going to be doing on Eventbrite or something. It doesn't matter. But you can promote it on LinkedIn and it puts it out on your homepage in a news feed in a very impressive way. So you can definitely share your events. And you can create a showcase page. So what a showcase page is, and I had some showcase pages for a while. So like I did one for a showcase page for LinkedIn training. And then I could do another one for LinkedIn optimization, and I could do one for resumes. And so you could create up to 10 showcase pages. As solopreneurs or small business owners, you may not need that. But if you're Procter & Gamble, you might want to have one showcase page for Crest and another one for Tide Pods and another one for, whatever, Quaker Oatmeal. I don't know what all they own, but you can have different company pages for that. So that is a nice feature that I was going to show you one of my companies and I can't remember the name of the company, so I can't show you how that works, but it's a nice feature. If I think of that, used to be called Poly One. Oh, Spartech. Let me show you how that looks. So if I go to, so what they did is Spartech used to be called Poly One. I set up a page for them for military aerospace plastics. So that a whole page, so you get another 2,000 characters where you can go to the other thing I think is frustrating about here is like, where's the about page on this? So then I have to view as member and show the about page. And then you can see this is a whole nother page separate from regular Spartech. This is all about their military aerospace applications. Then I also set up another page where for their, health care medical plastics. So they're a big enough company that they could have aerospace plastics and healthcare plastics. And so you can do completely different pages. And then I'm going to view this as a member. I'll tell you a couple things that are frustrating about the company page is you can view as an admin or view as a member. If you have a company page, I still have access to this one, but it's a nice feature to be, if you were a large company like Spartech, you could tell a whole story about this kind of plastic, this kind of plastic, this kind of plastic, and set yourself apart. But as small business owners, most of the time you don't need that.
Kathy?
Yes,
When you create a showcase page, does that mean that you will be higher in the ranks with regard to a search?
Not exactly. What it will mean is if you offer aerospace plastic, you're going to be more likely to show up if somebody was to type in aerospace plastics up into this search. But overall, it doesn't make your company any more successful. But it does help people find you for what you're doing. Okay. All right. So let's go back to.
And also, it's like 12 after 8.
Okay.
I don't know if people need to drop off. I as far as I'm concerned, we can go all day.
Well, and it's just like if anybody has any questions that if they need to go before they drop off, that's fine. If anyone wants to jump out and ask questions.
Okay.
Oh, the other one thing I want to show you guys is I'm going to show you a new share is what to do on your company page, because a lot of times people will they're like, well, what do I do out there? And so let me find it. Okay, so I put a couple pages of things that you can do, because sometimes people are like, well, do I just want to put an article out there in the share post? But you could share tips, like you could say, here's how to knit, or here's how to crochet, or here's how to fix a car, or here's how to do things. So you could do a series of tips. You could do some brag things like, we're a top workplace in St. Louis, or you know, whatever about our company. You could post that you're hiring ads, hiring people. That doesn't mean that that's going to show up on the jobs tab, but you could say, hey, we're hiring. And I would say, if you are hiring somebody, what I would do is I'd have some sort of image like this McCarthy Tire Service. We're hiring, something that kind of shouts out, so it makes it a little more interesting. You could thank veterans, first responders, that kind of things. You could run an ad, you know, like what I mean by an ad, you're not paying the money on LinkedIn, but you could post like your web ad out there. You could have a little fun, like, did someone say it's Friday? You could show your like service projects that you're doing with your employees, maybe civic pride. So on that, it might be like, you could say, you know, congratulations to National Geospatial for, you know, opening up in North St. Louis, and kind of do some different civic things. You could share video series, maybe by different employees, or maybe different things going on, events that you guys are leading or attending. And then you could do like executive profiles or employee spotlights. So it doesn't just have to be news, because then you're going to be like, I've got one article out there, I look really sad. So you want to think about all the things that you could post out there, and make it look like you've really got something going, and get your employees to link to that page. So, all right, but let me see, I'm going to go back to I'm going to go new share and go back to link. Am I?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm wondering, uh-oh,
Where did I go?
I just lost the question.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Forget
Let's
it. I'm
see.
going to mute myself, and I'm
Okay.
going to remember the question, and I will be
Okay.
back.
Okay, and I am going to try to share my screen again, get back to LinkedIn. So then if I can, yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions about company pages? Oh, a couple things that I'll point out on is, if you have a kind of common company name when you are starting to create the page, it'll say, hey, that's already taken. So like if somebody else had already taken Wiser U, I might have had to do Wiser U LLC or something. So it does make you you have to pick a name that hasn't been picked before. But let's come over
Kathy,
here.
I remember my
Yeah,
question.
go
It's so
ahead.
silly.
Okay.
Can you tell it's one of those mornings? I got
Yeah.
so much going on. Do you have, in order to be noticed by Google, do you need a company page, or if you put your keywords in your personal profile, does Google like that too?
Yeah, it does. Well, I'll show you why it. This is one thing that just was really revelatory to me was that I found this site that kind of will show me. Oh, I want to show a different thing. I'm going to go to. I'm going to go to here. So I think this will show if I go to LinkedIn, and can you guys see my company page now? Let me see. My Google. Let's see. I think I should. I keep clicking buttons and I shouldn't. Okay, so if I go to, I'm going to go to LinkedIn Trainer St. Louis. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Let me see. You are.
We can.
Yeah. Okay. So I always show, if you'll notice, I always show up in if number one for LinkedIn Trainer St. Louis or LinkedIn Expert St. Louis, and it's because I figured out the right things to do with my profile as far as putting in the right skills, the right current position, the right past position. But if I kept going down, it would probably also show Wiser U in there as a page. So I think what I would, to answer your question, Amy, I would say the most important thing is to pump up your profile, to have all that in there, but it helps to have your company page on there too. It just gives you a little more credence, but the company, your profile is probably going to show up first on LinkedIn. And so,
So the company page increases presence.
yeah, and it just kind of, and it also looks more impressive on your profile because you have that. And I haven't checked this soundproofing lady out in a while, but if I was to go there, having the company page helps her to show up, but she's not really working her LinkedIn anymore. And that's my other thing is you want to keep being active on LinkedIn. That helps you to show up. So you want to, and what does it mean to be active? That means like liking and commenting on other people's articles. So say Lisa Oxenhandler posts something, you want to like, comment, and share what she's doing. You want to post frequently. You want to endorse other people for their skills. So you go to their profile and endorse them for their skills. That shows activities. You want to keep connecting with people on LinkedIn. So the more active you are on LinkedIn, that's going to help you show up on Google. But on your company page, I'll tell you, it's hard to get a company page, get people to follow your company page. It's hard to, because you're a small company, but so keep inviting people, keep posting things and be interesting. And all of those things, all of those things are going to help. So yeah, so your company page, it's going to be harder to get a lot of attention on Google or anything, but you want to keep working it, inviting people and keep growing that. So. But mostly you're going to be found because of you.
Glenda, you had a question?
Yep, I do. Thank you, Lisa. Kathy, this is super. Thank you so much. You gave us a lot to think about. I know myself, I've been thinking about becoming more active on LinkedIn than I ever have before. So this was priceless for me today. So thank you for that.
Well, thanks. Did you have a question though? Yeah.
I have the age-old question. I still have the free version of LinkedIn. What's the benefits? Do you see the investment in the premium version, really paying off for people? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah. So I would say if you're going to be doing a lot of prospecting, then I would suggest getting either LinkedIn business premium, which I want to say is about $55, $60 a month. It allows you to do unlimited searches. So if you wanted to search for a ton of CEOs of social supply chain or something like that, you could do a ton of searching. Then there's Sales Navigator. It allows you to do endless searching, and you also can save a lot of the different results. So they all have different things. I would probably go with the lower price business premium. Make sure you're maximizing that before I'd go up to the Sales Navigator, which is about $79 a month. But here's my thing is if you're not doing a lot of searching, I would say don't do the premium. The only reason I would do premium is so that the little gold in symbol can show next to your name, which looks impressive. But if you really want to just have that impressive thing, just get career. Career is $29.99 a month, but you don't get unlimited searches. By that, I mean, you can only search for 60 people a month before they clamp down on you. And if you were looking up like CEOs, supply chain, they clamp down on you and they only will show you like 4 results instead of pages and pages of results. So if you're doing searches, then I would say get premium, one of the business premiums. If you're not, then just go with the $29.99 one and have the logo show if that's important. But for the most part, I go with a free account most of the time.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that feedback.
Okay. And then like Lisa probably has Recruiter Premium, which I think costs like $99 a month, but it's really very valuable for recruiters because they can do endless searches for their needs.
Actually, I only use premium.
Yeah, just like sales or business premium.
No, yeah, the business premium.
Okay, because you can do endless searches anyway, and then they have recruiting tools with the recruiter, but you know what to do. You don't need that if you know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jill, I want to thank you for pointing this out. This has been fixed, but apparently Google doesn't know that. So I'm going to talk to my web person to get it fixed. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, any other questions you guys have on company pages? I can go back there. And so I would say that it's super easy to set up a company page. It takes a little work to keep making it interesting, posting articles out there, inviting people and stuff, but it's worth it to do that so that when people go to visit your company page, they don't see that you have like 3 followers. And if anybody wants me to follow their company page, let me know and I'd be glad to. I follow tons and tons of company pages. So at least you have a few more friends out there than just 1 or 2, you and your grandma. Some friends out there.
I have one more question, Kathy.
Okay.
I
Okay.
just wanted to know from the group, I know we got to get going, but is anybody else having more trouble finding business content on LinkedIn?
So if you go to, let's see, on home, and I don't even know if you guys are seeing my, can you guys see my homepage now?
Yeah.
On the right side, now, do they do that anymore? Used to be at the top. It was, so LinkedIn News, they will show you some things. And I think, how does it work? If you start posting things, it'll kind of know and it'll say, hey, do you want to comment as wiser you on this topic? And then let's see if I go to notifications here, it may say something like say congrats, it'll kind of encourage you. And so if you check your notifications, once you start posting, it'll say, hey, do you want to start commenting on that? So Betsy, you probably get this since you post, rather frequently, but it'll say something like, would you like to comment on this as wiser you or as a representative of your company? So check out your notifications. Also check on your homepage. The other thing is, and that you might want to follow a lot of, you can go to your My Network and you can follow some people that maybe specialize in what you do, and then it'll you could comment on what they're doing, and then it'll kind of LinkedIn, once you kind of train it, here's the topics that I'm interested in. Like you could see all, like here, that's showing me a bunch of events I could view. If I keep going down, it might say, do you want to follow certain, well, now it's just going to show me people, but I could join some of these things. If I joined like a webinar on creating irresistible products or something, it's going to start knowing that I'm interested in products. And so then that way it might send you articles that might be interesting to you. But check notifications. Once you train it, it might start sending you better info.
I'm not even seeing stuff in my groups anymore. I'm just seeing TikTok videos.
And with groups used to be really strong. If you remember, like 5-6 years ago, groups were great and they would share all sorts of news and interesting things. But what happened is people there was some scammers that started posting things about diet pills and stuff. And so what happened is LinkedIn clamped down on people that were posting stuff on groups, but what they ended up doing is they clamped down on people like blog posters. Like I would share a blog post that I wrote about, here's how to write a resume headline. And what happened is, if at the end of my article, I say, hey, if you need more info, contact me, I can write your resume. If you were self-serving at all, the managers could shut you down in the groups, and then nobody was posting anymore. So groups are trying to come back to life, but they really, I would say, post articles on groups. The managers would be very appreciative if you would post things, and maybe get to be friends with group managers and say, hey, Kathy, I see you I have a group called Get a Job Tips, and say, hey, I see you got that. Would you mind if I posted articles and shared and stuff so that we could kind of get your group coming back to life? So kind of help group managers do that, because they're really pretty dead right now. And they did it to themselves. They didn't realize that they had killed off groups until it was too late.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. But groups are great because there are millions of people in the groups, and it's a great place to find your prospects. Anybody else have any questions?
Hey, Kathy, could you clarify a little bit about, so I've noticed, I have a PR person that moved me right to Sales Navigator. We skipped right over Business Premium.
Okay.
And I've noticed that when I try to message somebody and I'm just on my LinkedIn page, that it won't let me message, DM somebody unless I go to the navigator place.
Oh, yeah.
Which-
See, that's why I don't like premium. It's just, it wants to count one of your things towards your message. Now, if you are not connected to somebody, you can't send a free message to somebody you're not connected to. So that might be, but if you're connected to them, you should be able to send a free message. And so what you're finding is you go, do you know if you were sending a message to somebody you weren't connected to?
I was not connected with them and I was trying to send a message
Yeah.
and and LinkedIn let me know, no, you
Yeah.
can't do that because you don't have premium. Well, but I had
Yes.
paid for freaking navigator.
Yeah. So
And I
yeah,
had to
so
go
let's,
over-
I'll just use like if you find somebody who's like a second degree, if you have a premium account, what she means is, if she was to say, send a message. Okay, so one thing to look for is if you see on this message, I can send him a message for free. It doesn't have a padlock next to the word message.
Right.
If you see a padlock, that means you have to use up one of your paid ones. This guy, Bob, I don't know Bob, but I'm going to click message and a box will pop up and I can send him a message for free because he's a premium account holder that allows people to send a message for free. So if it keeps sending you over to premium, it's because that person is not your first degree connection, and only premium people who allow it can let you send another free message. But I'm going to go find another Bob Brown. Let's see.
And Kathy, can you
Yeah.
show us how to set up our profile so that we'll take messages? And
Yeah, so if you have a premium account, and right now I don't have a premium account, but how it works is if you go up to your so Lisa, you have premium, right? So if you go to your premium settings, then there's going to be, and I don't think I can show it to you since I don't have premium, but if I was to retry premium, you would go to your premium settings and there's going to be something up in the top box that says allow free messages and allow your premium logo to show. So you want your premium logo to show and you want to allow free messages. And you
Okay.
probably do. Let me see. Well, we're connected, so I can't. It would let me send you a free message anyway because we're connected.
yeah,
So you can only send free messages to people you're connected with or who are a premium account holder who allow you to send them free messages. Besides that, you can't. Or one button that's really cool is if somebody was talking about groups is I'm going to go to linked working St. Louis. I'm in this group. The other thing that's really nice is if you're in a group, you can send a message for free to somebody in the group. So I'm going to go over to, there's 30,000 members. I'm going to go to the see all button in this group that I'm in and say, I want to reach somebody named Jake. Here's the thing is you can only search by first name or last name in the group. So it's kind of frustrating, but say I really wanted to get a hold of this Jake Carruthers. I can send him a message through the group for free. Can't do it. If I went to just his page, you're going to see the message is going to have a padlock and I can't send them a message for free, but I can through the group. So, and I think it's limited. I think it's only 15 people total in all your groups total for 15, but it is a nice way to be able to send messages to the groups that way. And that renews every month. So,
excellent.
all right. Anybody else have any questions?
You have shared some
Sorry.
outstanding information.
Yeah.
Jill has also shared that Mid-Missouri SBDC does weekly coffee and conversations, some presentations.
Okay.
Right. I put that in there because that's where I met a lot of business owners during COVID.
Okay.
And I've been throwing you guys in Google because I'm not familiar with your businesses as we're doing
Yeah.
this and going, oh, you might FaceTime over there just as a nice, just
Yeah.
another set of links of people that know who you are and what your business is.
Yeah. So yeah, and the more active you are,
that is, but it's been good for COVID for me just to kind of say, okay, who's tuning in? Why are they there? Seeing what different SBDC offices do in the state, because I have a different one here in Rolla than the one that I got in Jeff City, and I've met the woman I think from St. Louis.
yeah. So Yeah, and I think that we're starting to get to the point where we're all going to get back really into networking again. I think people are starting to feel like we got to get back to normal somehow, whether that's online or not. All right, any other questions that anybody has?
Annette said, as always, Kathy, this was fabulous, and
Well,
I'll watch
thanks.
the replay.
Well, thank you,
One
Annette.
thing that, how we were talking about virtual and the advantages is, Jill, you're able to be here this morning,
Oh, absolutely.
versus meeting someplace in the St. Louis area.
Oh,
Right.
I've been totally doing that with COVID, because I was trying to find out what's going on with Venture Cafe and everything at Cortex. And I got 4 times in person when COVID happened. And now
Yeah.
I've been meeting some of these people weekly, some of these people not weekly. It's been really good. I've taken a lot of classes online and gone to a lot of conferences in my area of expertise, but still not working, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're all going to be kind of like Lisa said, hybrids of Zoom and real world eventually.
Yeah.
Kathy, you're chock full of information. Thank you.
Well, thanks. I'm glad to help.
I have a crazy question. What do you do with that old profile? I don't even know how to get into that silly old profile that I started. And my daughter said, Mom, you really ought to get rid of that old one. I'm like,
okay, so what you want to do is, if you have one that you don't want, and I work with a lot of people that accidentally have more than one, you want to go into help, and then in the search box, in the help search box, type merge accounts, and then figure out the browser window address, for the good profile you want to keep and for the bad profile. And then it'll give you 4 options. It'll say, do you know the email address of both of them? Do you not know it? Do all that. Here's the thing, is it's super frustrating, because when you try to merge them, they have all these options and they're frustrating because some of the options just don't work for you. So if you have a Twitter account, the very best thing to do is to send a direct message to @LinkedIn Help on Twitter and to say, hey, I have 2 accounts. Here's my good one. Here's my bad one. I tried to merge them, but it didn't work. Can you merge them? And they'll do it in about 5 minutes. LinkedIn Help on Twitter is so much better than LinkedIn Help on LinkedIn. So
awesome.
I just ask, I think you can talk to a real human being and they help you in like 5 minutes.
Wow.
Awesome.
So anyway, so they're
cool.
awesome. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I recommend. But the LinkedIn Help one is just really broken. But figure out which one you like, which one you don't like. It's going to merge all your connections together. It will not merge your skills. So what you would want to do is, look at the old one, figure out who gave you the skills endorsements, ask them to endorse you on your good account and say, hey, I'm turning this one off. Can you endorse me over there? So then you don't miss those skills. So
do you have to merge, or can you just shut one down?
you know what? You can just shut one down, but they will merge it for you. So you might, if you only have like one, if it doesn't have much on there and it's no big deal to delete it, then just delete the account. That'd be good. But check first, make sure you don't have like 50 endorsements for something or whatever, and clean it all up before you you delete it. But it's pretty easy if you go through LinkedIn LinkedIn Help.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you so much, Kathy.
Glad to help. Yeah, and if you guys invite me to connect if we're not connected yet, and if you guys need me to follow your company page, let me know. I'll be glad to.
Well,
Okay.
and I don't know about the rest of you, but Kathy is not a morning person. So I truly, that just shows you
She's
how much.
doing a good.
I'm doing fake it on TV. Yes. Well, thanks for having me, Lisa. I appreciate it. I'll make sure I'm following recruiting for growth. Yeah, I'll follow.
And I hope everyone else will too.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.